Hello and welcome back to Google Tutorials with the marvelous Miss Honey. Today I'm going to be showing you a little bit about Google Forms, how to create a basic Google form, but then also how to do some pretty neat things with it, like make a self-differentiated form, choose your own adventure type forms, and also some quizzes. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and open up your Drive or go to docs.google.com/forms and you're going to come to your Forms homepage. When you first log into Forms, this is what it's going to look like. You can choose from any kind of template, or you can create your own. If you are part of a G Suite for Education, many of you might already have templates and you can submit templates. So for my school, I just submitted a template that people can use, or you can see just the generic general templates. We have worksheets, we have exit tickets, assessments, evaluation, all different kinds of things that you can use that are already created for you, which is pretty nice, or you can create your own. I'm going to show you how to just start from scratch, not from a template. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, obviously, is click on Start a Form. So when you click on it, you've got your untitled form. So I'm just going to call this one Jelly Beans. Whoops, it's not where I wanted it. Up here. And then that's automatically going to update my form title for me. And this is where you do the title. If you have directions, you can put directions there if you want to. And then this is where you're going to be adding all of your stuff. Right over here on the right-hand side is going to be kind of your toolbar. So you can add more questions, you can import questions, you can add titles and descriptions, which is what this is. You can add images, add a video, or you can add sections. So I have a question here when you just click on it, and there's different choices. You can put a picture in here if you want to, and there are different types of questions you can ask. We've got short answer and paragraph, multiple choice, checkboxes, a drop-down menu. You can select so that students upload their own different files of different things if you want them to upload something. A linear scale, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? Multiple choice grid and checkbox grids. For the younger grades, I don't really recommend doing too much of the multiple choice grids and checkbox grids. They can get a little confusing. And then you have date and you have time that you can put. The first thing that I almost always put on any of my forms, especially if it's going to be for my students, is name. Because what happens is when you are collecting your forms, if it's not an automatic quiz that imports all of the grades, you're not going to know who it's from, because our email addresses are student numbers, not their actual names. And so most of you are not going to know your students' numbers that correspond to their name. So I always make sure that that is the very first question that I put, and I make sure that I put it as required. And so they have to put their name in because that's kind of important. Then I'm going to click on the create another question. And so for this one, I'm just going to create a quick little question of what is your age? And I'm going to have this be a drop down. So I'm going to select drop down and I'm going to put 7, 8, 9, 9, and then 10. And those are going to be my selections. This particular form is not being graded, so there's not a right or a wrong answer. I'll show you how to do those so that there's a right or wrong answer. This is more of a gathering information kind of a form. I then can also put, let's see here, question. Maybe I want to put down what is your favorite season? And my options are spring, summer, fall, in winter. Now notice here, guys, don't click add other. You just want to see where it says add option, because if you click add other, it just puts it as the answer as other. One great thing for the little kids is you don't have to have it be actual words. You can put pictures in place instead. And so they would be seeing instead pictures, and you can upload, do a Google image search. So maybe I want to do a Google image search for spring. Well, those aren't the right kind of springs that I want. Okay, so let's select that. I insert that, and there ends up being a picture that goes with it. So that helps those kiddos out who might not have those reading skills yet. Then I go down and maybe I want to add one more question. And oops, didn't want to do that. Oh well. Go back up here. This one, I want it to be a checkbox. So what are your favorite foods? I'm gonna select tacos, burritos. Apparently I'm in a Mexican mood today, and nachos. And then let's say that I'm done with this form. I don't want this guy anymore. I'm gonna delete him. There we go. Okay. Now, well, some cool things, you can go ahead and make the forms be customizable. So if you go up to the little paint palette here and you click on it, you can customize the theme. You can customize the colors that you want. You can change the font. You can make the font be anything you want it to. I think that's fun font. Let's use that fun font. You can change colors, but you can also change images. So let's see, mine's all about jelly beans. Oh, look, there's something that looks like jelly beans. We're going to select that. I'm going to put that in. And then it changes your whole theme. And now I've got some fun little jelly beans and stuff on here. Now I'm going to go into my settings. So I click on that gear box, and I'm going to be looking here. You can say that you want to collect email addresses. If you want this to be anonymous, anonymous surveys, you wouldn't want to put name, and you wouldn't want to collect email addresses. When we're doing this for our students, if we're creating forms, you want to make sure that you're restricting it to users that are just in New Summit instead of anybody being able to use it. Now, if I'm sending this form out to parents, it's a really easy way to collect information, collect email addresses, how they want to be contacted. Instead of doing it paper, you can do it electronically. You would want to unclick the required sign in. You also want to, with these kinds of things, limit to one response. Because otherwise some of your kids might get on here, especially if you're doing some kind of poll or voting, and they might submit multiple responses. You also can check whether or not they edit after they submit, or if they see some summaries. When you go to presentation, you can show, if it's a quiz, you can shuffle the question orders so that the kids can, so that they're not seeing the same questions next to each other. Show a progress bar, and you can also change the confirmation message. And I'm going to say, thank you. I look forward to learning more about you. You can also do things like watch this video and put a link on there. And then we click save. And so now I have my form, and I'm going to preview it so I actually can go ahead and set it up. So I'm going to preview it, and I'm going to actually go ahead and fill this out so that you see what it looks like once something has already been filled out. I'm going to say I'm 9. Hold on here. Let's see. And then what's my favorite season? And here's how this looks. And if I had images for all of them, it would look like this. So I'm going to say fall is my favorite. And then I'm going to check all of these because they're all my favorite. And then I'm going to submit. And then it pops up with my nice little thing here. And so when you go back to your form, you're going to see that there have been responses. You can look at the responses as a summary and you can see, so this is really nice for polls and feedback. It will go ahead and do some nice little charts and show you the percentages of what people answered. You can see answers by question, and then you can also see answers by individuals. And so this would be if you have multiple students that have inputted answers. This is why it's really important to have their name on here. But one cool thing that Forms does is that it'll automatically create spreadsheets for you. So if you go up here with this green and white plus sign is, this green box with the white plus sign, and you click on that, it's going to create a spreadsheet for you. And it will take all that information and make it all nice and pretty. And you don't have to input anything. So this is one reason why it's really great to be able to get to know your students, to collect some quick information, because if you look, you see, here it is. Here's my name, what's my age, what's my favorite season, and here are all of my answers that have already been put in for your data. And it is automatically saved in your drive as well, which is really nice. Now I'm going to show you really quick how to create a quiz. So we're going to go back into our Google Forms. And you can do this one of two ways. The easiest way is to literally do blank quiz, because then it already has all of the settings done for you. You can start from scratch, but the easiest way is going to be blank quiz. So I'm going to click on blank quiz. And I'm going to create my own quiz here. I'm going to name my quiz Demo Quiz. And you're going to notice some different things about the quiz form than just the normal form. Specifically up here, you're going to see that there's total points. So I have my question. So say one of the things that you want to do is you are doing a quiz, and it is, you want the kids to watch a video. Maybe you want them to look at a picture and do some inferences on it. And so I'm actually going to say, let's add an image. And I'm going to go to my Google image search, and I'm going to search for a playground. And I'm going to insert that in there. And I'm going to put my question, look at the picture below, then answer the questions. So now I have a pretty little picture here, and I'm going to ask questions about this picture. And I can say something like, maybe we're working on inferences. What time of day do you think it is? And I've got my options here: morning, afternoon, or night. And then we have here, we have answer key. You want to click on answer key. And what that's going to do is let you select the correct answer, and then also put however many points this is worth. So I'm going to say it's worth 2 points, and I'm going to say that the correct answer is morning. You can also give answer feedback. So if there's incorrect answers, one of the really cool things that you can do is say it's math. What's 2 plus 2, and they get the wrong answer. You actually can, as their answer feedback, you actually can go ahead and look up a YouTube video or a link that would then reteach them whatever it was, whatever the concept was that they got wrong before they go on to the next question. Or if they have correct answers, you can just say, you know, good job. Incorrect answers, sorry, that is incorrect. And then move on. We're going to add yet another question. So this other question, maybe I want to say is, is how many slides are there? And we can do drop down, you can do multiple choice, you can do however you want to do it. So I'm gonna say 1, oops. I can add these all. It'll sometimes do suggestions for you. If you don't like any of these, you can easily remove them. And then I'm going to, again, click on answer key. You have to click on answer key every single time. If you don't, then it won't save it for you. And I believe there were 2. So we're gonna say that that's the correct answer. We can add answer feedback. I'm not gonna do that right now. Now I've decided that that's it. That's my quiz. We're done. We're good. Everything's good to go. I do want to check my settings though, just to make sure. It requires a sign in. I want to limit it to 1 response. I am going to collect email addresses for this one because it's a quiz. Looking at my presentation, I'm going to shuffle the question order. And now I'm going to say, maybe I want to give them some direction after they finished. So good job, please silent read until your teacher gives more instructions. And then you can also go here where it says quizzes, okay? And in this one is you can do locked mode on Chromebooks. So if you're on Chromebooks, it won't allow the students to open up tabs or applications while taking the quiz. This is a good thing if you're at school and using the Chromebooks. If they're at home, you don't want it to have locked mode because it can kind of mess the form up a little bit. Release the grade immediately after each submission, or you can do it later after manual review if you want to look at it. You can see, you can click on whether or not they can see correct answers, point values, or missed questions. And then I'm going to click save. And here is what the form is going to look like when I do it. So if I look, here's my picture. What time of day do you think it is? I'm going to say, morning. And then how many slides are there? 2. And I'm going to say submit. And then I can view my score. And when I view my score, this is what it's going to look like to your students. I got a 4 out of 4. Yay, good job. And here's my feedback. Good job. If there's a video that I want you to look at because you might not have gotten it correct, that's where that's going to be. So then when you look at your blank quiz and you look at the responses, it will come in and it'll tell you all of the points. It will look at all of the scores. It'll tell you the emails. And then when you look at like the individual ones, this is where you would be able to look at, if you have multiple students, it's going to be right here to be able to look at all of their stuff. And you can see all of their things. If you are doing utilizing Google Classroom and making a quiz, what Google Classroom will do is it'll actually import all the grades for you into Google Classroom, so you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to go back and look at the responses. It is automatically going to do it for you, which is really, really nice. So that's how we create a quiz. Now what I'm going to show you one last thing is how to create a kind of like a choose your own adventure form in a way. So we start by clicking start new form. I'm just going to say choose your own adventure. Oops, that was supposed to be on the untitled form. Let's fix that here. Okay. So here's how this is going to start. So say I am doing science and I'm doing the states of matter. And so I might say, what are the 3 states of matter? Okay. to make this a choose your own adventure or a differentiating form, everything has to be a multiple choice question. That's the only way that this is going to work. And so you want to make sure that it's a multiple choice question, and then you're going to click on these 3 little dots right here. And you're going to go to section based on answer. And this is where you get to choose where things go. So I have option 1, we're going to say is liquid, solid, gas. This one I'm going to say liquid, solid, magic. Those are the only 2 that I'm going to choose. And this is where you would say what they get to do, where they're going to go. You can make them submit the form, continue to the next section, go to a different section. So I'm going to make a new section here. And when I go in here, I'm going to say, okay, they got this one right, so they get to continue to the next section. They got this one wrong, so they're going to go to section 2. And section 2 is going to... Section 2 is going to be reteaching them a little bit, okay? So we're going to reteach them some stuff. So this is going to be reteaching, okay? And I'm going to add something in here in section 2. I'm going to add a video about states of matter. And I'm going to put that in there. And they watch this. And then I can ask the question again. What are the 3 states of matter? Option 1, and I'm just going to put other. And then you're going to want to make sure that you can do one of 2 things. If you want to continue to reteach them, you would put go to section based on next answer. If you want to just say let them continue to the next section, you can leave it blank and you just have this little thing down here which says continue to next section. Okay. I'm going to move this one so that this goes to section 3, not next section. This goes to section 2. There we go. Now say they got it correct, we just go on to whatever it is that the next section is, which is what is the solid form of water. You don't have to have section titles, so we just did a question. What is the solid form of water? And then I have my multiple choice. I can say, okay, ice, water, vapor. Okay, and then I'm going to click on go to sections based on answer. So if I get it wrong, maybe if I'm getting it wrong, I need to go back and watch that reteaching video. And so maybe that's what I'm going to do, is have them go back to that reteaching video. If I get it correct, I'm going to say that we're done now and they can submit the form. And now that it's all done, we can preview to see what it looks like. So what are the 3 states of matter? So I'm going to pretend that I don't know this, and I'm going to say liquid, solid, magic. And I'm going to click on next. And what it does is it then brings me to this, where I rewatch the video and now I can try it again with what are the 3 states of matter, and then I can choose whichever option it is and click next. And now it's going to show me choose your own adventure. If I click on ice, that's going to let me submit the form. If I click on this, it's going to take me back to the reteaching, and I can do the reteaching again. And then it'll take me back to this one, and maybe hopefully I get the correct answer, and then I click next, and now I can submit my form. And the nice thing about this is when you look at the responses and when you download it, or even just look at the question or the individual responses, you'll be able to see if the students got them wrong and how many times they went to, how many times they had to go back to their reteaching, which can help you with any of your groups. So then you can create your happy little spreadsheet here, and you can look and see what all of the answers are. And so that's a kind of choose your own adventure, self-differentiating form. So remember, for the self-differentiating forms, you want to make sure that all of your questions are multiple choice questions. It's the only way that you can do it. And to make sure that if you want to have them go to specific sections based on their answers, you click on these 3 dots. So the last thing that I'm going to show you is how to share, how to send out your forms. If you're doing it through Google Classroom, all you do is just select the form. It's super easy. But if you're not doing this through Google Classroom, say you're wanting to send out a survey to your parents, what you do is you would just click send. And you can do this a couple different ways. If you have all of the emails, you can write them down, or what I tend to do is just copy the link and then you send the, you just email that link out. You can also, if you have all the emails, you can choose to include the form in your email, which is pretty nice. And this will then share this with all of your parents. So I hope that gave you a little bit more information on how to do forms, regular forms, quizzes, and how to do some choose your own adventure forms. Tune in next time when I take you guys through Google Sites. Have yourselves a great day.